Surrounded by challenges, yet Europe still faces the conundrum of outdated and insufficient weapons. Obsolete and lacking in modernity, many countries are striving to fill the gaps in their arsenal. So what types of weapons are the giants eyeing? What are NATO's priorities in its grand refurbishment plan to bolster Europe's defense shield? Amidst all these, concerns persist about territorial control falling into foreign hands. How is the region striving to avoid weapon dependence? All of this will be revealed in today's episode of Foreign Affairs. Human resources and weaponry are two fundamental factors that determine military strength. While sound tactics are important, inadequate weapons make it difficult to achieve victory. Conversely, possessing powerful weapons alone does not guarantee a breakthrough if the military forces are weak. However, in recent months, several experts have continuously warned that many European countries are experiencing a weapon shortage amidst mounting challenges from all directions. Even economic powerhouses are not exempt from this situation. According to Der Spiegel, citing classified documents leaked in June, the German military reportedly has only around 20,000 artillery shells, which is only one-tenth of NATO's requirements. The German Ministry of Defense has set a goal to submit 9 budget proposals to expedite the procurement of artillery shells for the artillery units and tanks, filling the gap in the reserve stockpile. Gaps exposed in the heat of the Ukraine war have led to the head of the British Army warning that UK equipment is not fit for purpose, while academics have signaled that Russia's arsenal is improving. James Patrick Sanders derided much of the military's armored vehicles as archaic and decades out of date, suggesting these are rotary dial telephones in an iPhone age. Meanwhile, defense experts warn that Russia's forces in Ukraine were learning very fast and rapidly introducing new technology. James Sanders' comments could act as a spur for the government to more rapidly modernize an army that has fallen behind others in recent decades. Many of our platforms are outdated and not fit for purpose, he told the Rosie Land Warfare Conference. I trained on the 432 armored personnel carrier in the 1980s when it was already 30 years old and it is still in service today. He said that the Warrior armored vehicle was introduced in 1987 and the Challenger 2 tank in 1998, making the analogy that Britain was trying to fight with old-fashioned telephones in a smartphone age. The Economist on July 1st also added that ammunition reserves are another serious issue for the UK specifically and Europe in general. Retired Major General Ben Berry, currently working at IISS, stated that the UK probably does not have enough reserves for a heavily armoured brigade to sustain intense combat in a war. The shortage of weapons in Europe has also attracted attention through the report by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute (SIPRI), published in March of this year. According to the report, the imports of major weapons in the region increased by 47% over a 5-year period up until 2022. SIPRI defines major weapons as aircraft, warships, tanks, artillery, missiles, and other heavy defense systems. According to Reuters, European demand for US weaponry is soaring, but instead of big-ticket items like jets and tanks, shopping lists are focused on cheaper, less sophisticated items such as shoulder-fired missiles, artillery, and drones that have proven critical to Ukraine's war efforts. Demand is centered around basic weapons and munitions, 155mm artillery rounds, air defenses, communications equipment, shoulder-fired javelin missiles, and drones. Nearly a dozen European military attachés in Washington told Reuters in a series of recent interviews. Finland and Denmark began talks with General Atomics after Russia invaded Ukraine last February, a source familiar with the discussion told Reuters. They want to buy a small number of MQ-9B Sea Guardian drones that can be used for maritime and land surveillance. Meanwhile, according to The Economist, NATO's defense refurbishment plans are prioritizing defense procurement and investment. Collective defense requires heavy weapons such as fighter jets, tanks, and artillery. However, after the 2001 attacks in the United States and conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq, the focus has shifted towards mine-clearing vehicles, transport helicopter, and light infantry. A senior NATO official has identified 5 immediate priorities for the alliance: agile ground forces, particularly heavily armored brigades, integrated air defense and missile system capable of protecting moving units, long-range firepower such as artillery and missile launchers, digital networks enabling secure and rapid data transmission, logistics capabilities for deploying large forces across Europe. This list reflects the need identified after observing recent conflicts worldwide. Not only NATO, but many European countries are intensifying their defense investments and efforts to enhance their defensive capabilities, entering into fierce competition with other major powers. In late June, the French Defense Agency announced the first test flight of a hypersonic glider. According to the statement, the test flight on a highly restricted long-range trajectory posed an unprecedented technical challenge and would pave the way for the future of supersonic technology in the EU. The glider-shaped missile, capable of reaching speeds above Mach 5 over 6,000 km per hour, makes interception difficult. France signed a contract with aerospace company ArianeGroup in 2019 to oversee the VMAX program aimed at developing hypersonic gliders. According to Eurasian Times, France's system is still a long way from becoming operational, and the recent test was referred to by the French government as a technology demonstration. The launch has propelled France into the race for hypersonic technology, while the 3 major players, the US, China, and Russia, continue to fiercely compete. According to Reuters, a rocket is needed to boost the glider to an altitude of 10 kilometers before the glider and its payload return to Earth at supersonic speeds. Hypersonic gliders are designed to carry either nuclear or conventional warheads. Unlike traditional ballistic missiles with fixed trajectories, hypersonic gliders can maneuver at high speeds. Paris' move comes as Europe is intensifying the development of interception systems capable of taking down hypersonic missiles. European missile manufacturer MBDA is leading a consortium of companies in conceptualizing a prototype of a European hypersonic interception missile system within the next 3 years. According to Defense News, the company has signed a cooperative agreement with 4 European nations, France, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands, to research and develop a prototype system within a 3-year time frame. The consortium consists of 19 companies, 30 suppliers from 14 European countries. In addition to the 4 cooperating nations, other partners include Finland, Estonia, Sweden, Denmark, Romania, Hungary, Croatia, Austria, Spain, and Belgium. Defense News reports that MBDA has been studying hypersonic defense technology for about 4 years. Eric Beranger, CEO of MBDA, stated, "The defense system can be deployed throughout Europe to shoot down moving missiles at speeds of up to 11,000 km per hour. MBDA is the multinational missile developer and manufacturer in Europe. Within the MBDA, the developing capability is named Aquila, derived from the Latin word for eagle. The aim is to link the development of Aquila with the European Union-funded Early Warning and Prompt Response Program. Nearly a year ago, the EU announced an initial list of 61 programs to be supported by the European Defence Fund. Among the highly regarded programs in the European Hypersonic Defense HYDAF, which will include a conceptual phase to develop a space-based interception missile. This phase will be carried out over a period of 3 years and is estimated to cost around $110 million. The EU will contribute up to nearly $100 million to this effort through the European Defence Fund. In recent months, the significance of having a system with these capabilities in Europe has grown exponentially. According to the EU, the objective of the project is to develop a hypersonic interception system by 2035, aiming to implement a countermeasure that can ultimately be integrated into the air defense system. This system would include high-performance early warning, tracking, and interception capabilities for airborne threats, ballistic missile defense (BMD) missions, and hypersonic vehicles. It can be seen that NATO's military overhaul is a strong effort to help strengthen the defense shield in Europe. Providing further details about this plan, according to The Economist, the military overhaul within NATO is the most significant topic in the Alliance Summit agenda in July. The architect behind these reforms is Chris Cavalli, a U.S. general serving as the Supreme Allied Commander Europe, SACEUR within the NATO bloc. The focus of the military overhaul is a plan for 3 regions, one in the north encompassing the North Atlantic and the Arctic within Europe, 2 addressing the challenges in the Baltic region and the central area of Europe, and a southern plan related to Mediterranean and the Black Sea region. Additionally, there are plans for the aerospace domain, cyber operations, and special forces. The first and most important purpose of these plans is deterrence. According to Tim Sully, a historian of Alliance at the University of Toronto, Canada, the key to NATO aligning war plans is that their adversary knows that the existence of these plans. Therefore, the plans provide detailed guidance for all armed forces in Europe and North America on how to act in the event of a conflict. When I was a young lieutenant, I knew exactly where our artillery would be deployed at, said General Darrell Williams, the commander of the U.S. Army in Europe, referring his deployment to West Germany in 1983. By the end of this year, General Cavalli will allocate countries with specific roles and units on the front line. Brigades and divisions may know their assigned areas, whether it is an island in Norway or part of the Carpathian Mountains. Of course, knowing the mission may sound easy, but implementing it is another matter. According to The Economist, there are high hopes that the plans will accelerate reforms and enhance defense responsibilities. During the Cold War era, the forces of the alliance were always tested for combat readiness. At last year's NATO summit, the Allies agreed to maintain over 100,000 troops ready for deployment within less than 10 days, and another 200,000 troops in the state of readiness within a month. These numbers are significantly higher than before, but now the Allies may even declare to General Cavalli the architect of NATO defense revamp, which units will be ready to deploy at any given time if necessary. In recent weeks, the United States, Germany, and the United Kingdom have been practicing how to rapidly expand the scale of deployment in Poland, Lithuania, and Estonia from battalions to brigades. Italy may also soon conduct similar tests in Bulgaria. The purpose of these activities is to reassure the Baltic countries and demonstrate to adversaries that NATO can quickly reinforce the Eastern Front. Notably, Germany has recently made an unprecedented commitment to deploy a division in Lithuania. NATO exercises are also becoming more demanding. They resemble pre-war rehearsals to some extent, according to an anonymous official. The largest exercise in decades, Steadfast Jupiter, is scheduled to take place later this year. According to The Economist, the calculations have highlighted Europe's dependence on the United States. The Pentagon has put other countries to shame by deploying the equivalent of 22 brigades in Europe, primarily under the U.S. Army's V Corps in Poland. Furthermore, the new plans are bringing the United States and Europe closer together than ever before. Not many people realize this, but the United States is strongly re-engaging with NATO's planning system, a senior NATO official told The Economist. According to the official, NATO's defense revamp aligns with Washington's stance and, in many ways, is a product of the United States. This demonstrates that the United States is coming back, regardless of concerns about the possibility of Donald Trump being re-elected as president next year. Deeper reforms to NATO's command structure are also evidence of this trend. The NATO Supreme Allied Command Transformation headquarters in Europe is undergoing a transformation, according to U.S. Army General Van Woodnen. The new headquarters will be established at General Williams' headquarters in Wiesbaden, Germany. Ironically, despite fears of being abandoned by the United States, some Europeans are now concerned whether the American generals are taking over the continent. The answer is yes, they are taking over because they have intention to fight in Europe, which is good news if you are a local resident, a CNN NATO official told The Economist. That has also wrapped up our program today. Thanks for your watching and see you next time.